Hi guys, probably when you saw the title of this video you were thinking that I would be saying something like L number plecos need wood in their tank, or some of them are carnivorous and others are omnivorous and so on. But no, I will not be talking about these things because there's plenty of information online. I wanted to talk about the problem that occurs quite often in L number pleco fish keeping side of the hobby, but is not discussed as much as it should be, and it mostly remains a mystery for beginners or for first-time keepers of L number plecos. So let's imagine a situation. You are going to your local fish store and you see there a beautiful, colorful L number pleco. It's very reasonably priced, and you've never had L number plecos before, or you had just some limited experience with L numbers, but you just want to have this fish, and you buy it and you take it with you home. If you bought this fish from a store that specializes in L number plecos, or at least a store that offers high quality fish to the customers, probably there will be no further issues with this pleco, and it will live happily ever after. But sadly, there are a lot of stores that are not too fussy about the quality of the fish that they sell, or the quality of the fish that they order in order to sell to the customers. So the problems that I will be talking about occurs quite often in situations when you buy your pleco from a store that doesn't always offer top quality fish to their customers, particularly chain stores or lots of other local fish stores, smaller fish stores. So you brought this pleco home, and the first thing you might notice, if we're talking about this situation, that this pleco has extremely flat belly. It's not even flat, it's kind of sunken. You can see here a picture of royal pleco, Panac nigrolineatus, which will give you some idea of what I'm talking about. I will show you a lot more pictures later on in this video, and I will explain the reason why this happens and what to do about it. So as you can see on the picture, the belly of that pleco, it's kind of curved inside. It's not even sunken, it's kind of like all flattened from inside. Well, if you never had any experience with the situation, just like any of us, you would think that probably this pleco is starved out, so I need to feed it up and I need to power feed it and everything will be fine. You'll try to feed it and you will notice that it has no interest in whatever food you're offering it, so you will try to order more pleco food, so all sorts of pellets. You will try to feed it veggies. If it's a carnivorous, you will try to feed it meaty type of foods. The same situation, it will not touch any of the foods you will be offering it. The next thought you might have in your head is that probably that's intestinal worms. That's why it cannot eat, that's why it has this sunken belly. So you will start treating it for intestinal worms, you will try different dewormers, most likely not gonna help. Probably the other thought that you will have in your head is that probably that's bacterial infection, because that's what happens. Some of the bacterial infections, they actually make your fish kind of not necessarily sunken, but become kind of squeezed in. So you will start treating it for bacterial infections, and most likely it's not going to help either. Usually this pleco in such a condition will survive maybe for a couple of weeks, maybe for a month. In 99% of the cases it will be dead after some period of time without eating anything. So this story is all too typical for a lot of people who buy their L number plecos first time from a store that, or online store that probably has no reputation of selling high quality fish. And it happened to me as well years ago when I first bought my first L number pleco. This beautiful looking golden nugget, it looks great from that side. On the other side it had completely sunken belly. Sadly I don't have pictures saved of its belly, but it was completely sunken, and that's the situation that I described you earlier is what I faced. I went through all these phases. I was trying to feed it unsuccessfully, I was trying to deworm it unsuccessfully, I was trying to treat it for bacterial infections also unsuccessfully, and a month later I lost that fish. Over the years, I've encountered a few of these situations, but most of the fish that had this condition later on I bought online, so I didn't really see them before. I'll show you here a few more pictures of this condition. These are the pictures from internet. These are not my fish, so fortunately I didn't have that many experiences with this sunken belly situation. So it quite often occurs in golden nuggets, Barry ancestors. You can see here a few pictures of golden nuggets with sunken bellies. It also frequently occurs in panax, royal plecos. There are a few pictures of panax here, and this is a picture actually of a watermelon panax L330, gorgeous fish, but its belly is completely sunken. It also occurs in lots of other types of L number plecos. For example, this is L25 cactus pleco, and this is king tiger pleco L333. So different L numbers are usually affected by this situation. Right, so let's get to the core of this issue. Why this happens? We have to start with kind of the bigger issue. Most of the L number plecos are not tank bred; they're wild caught. So they're caught mostly in Brazil, Colombia, and Peru, and they are exported from these countries to all over the world. This is particularly relevant to larger pleco species such as Barry ancestors, golden nuggets, sunshine plecos, Scoby ancestors, royal plecos, panax, pseudacanthicus, all sorts of cactus plecos, and lots of other larger species which generally grow larger. And most of these species, they are not tank bred, they're not bred in aquariums, so they're all wild caught. Certainly this issue will not affect tank bred L number plecos or farm bred L number plecos or plecos such as plecostomos. So there are generally two types of L number pleco exporters in South America. The first type are the companies that specialize in so-called top quality fish, AAA grade plecos. You can see here pictures of some of the fish that this type of exporters sell. So these are usually larger specimens, and these are the fish that will fetch really high prices in European, North American or Asian markets. So these exporters, they will take a very good care after this fish. So they will keep them in good water, they will feed them very good food, they will deworm them, they will treat them for parasites, they will quarantine them properly, and these are the fish that will usually cost probably starting from around $500 in Europe, North America or Asia. So these are top grade, top quality fish. There are also a different type of L number pleco exporters. These are companies that specialize mostly in juvenile L number pleco. And these fish are usually small, they're cheap, and the point is to sell as many of those fish as possible at a cheaper price. So they don't really care about the quality, they care about quantity. They don't want to spend extra money on fish medications to treat this fish for parasites. They don't have time to quarantine them. So what they would do, and they've done that for decades, they would buy cheap human antibiotics, and they will treat this fish for parasites with these cheap antibiotics. In South America, you can buy human antibiotics at a cheap price, and you can buy them in bulk, and you can treat this wild caught fish with these antibiotics. The problem is, well, in case of other species, tetras, cichlids, these antibiotics might harm them, but they can still make it through. In case of plecos, these antibiotics will completely wipe out the intestinal flora, so they will clean their stomachs of all the bacteria, all the beneficial bacteria that the plecos need to digest food, that they need to survive. As a result, this fish will be completely incapable of digesting any sort of food, completely incapable of eating. That's why their stomachs are completely sunken inside, because it's kind of all the flora, all the intestinal flora was completely removed by that treatment. I've heard about quite a lot of these cases, and all the cases that I've heard of, including my own cases, they were little cases. So the pleco was never able to survive this situation, and no matter what we do, the pleco will, in 99% of cases, will die in the end. So there's nothing we can really do about this situation. Again, if you're watching this video and you had positive experience with treating a pleco with a sunken belly, like the ones I've showed you on the pictures, do leave your comments in the comment section, because I'm certainly interested in positive cases, but I've never personally heard about a single positive case. Most recently, it was about a year ago, I bought L24 cactus pleco, red fin cactus pleco, which is relatively expensive fish, but I've bought it online from an online retailer here in the UK, and it was a smaller fish about this size, and it didn't cost that much as fully grown individuals will cost, and the fish has completely sunken belly. I've seen that situation before. I already knew from the start that this fish is not going to make it through, but I've tried everything possible. Of course, it didn't eat anything. I dewormed it, I treated it for parasites, lots of other things, but a month later this pleco was dead. So this was my most recent experience. So I still think that exporters in Brazil in particular, they use these human antibiotics to treat fish, and a lot of importers in Europe and probably in other parts of the world, they still buy this cheap juvenile fish in large numbers, because they believe that they can also sell them cheaply in large quantities. So unfortunately, the practice goes on in our times as well, because first time I encountered this issue many years ago, and that was a situation, and it took me quite a while to learn about the origins of this problem, and sadly there is no solution to this issue. So what can you do to avoid buying such a fish? Well, if you're buying your L number pleco at a fish store, always check its belly. Just try to see if it has a normal belly or it has a sunken belly. If it has a normal, not necessarily plump, but just a normal belly, then it's probably a healthy fish. It would be great if you can see this fish eating and, most importantly, pooping. If they do these things, they're healthy. If you're buying fish online, that's much harder, so it's better to buy fish online from a reputable pleco sellers, from companies or individuals that have good reputation of selling high quality fish, not just cheaper online retailers that are likely to sell you sick fish. So yeah, always do try to get as much information as possible about the fish that you're buying, and if it's in a fish store, you can clearly inspect its belly, and that's very important, because if you will not inspect its belly and you're buying fish in person, there is a high chance that you will get a fish with a flat belly. Online, you might ask for pictures of a particular fish that you will be buying, because some retailers nowadays they actually sell certain fish. They kind of have a number with a fish that comes with a fish, and they show you the pictures of that particular fish that you will be buying. So that is one of the ways to buy a healthy fish, or just buying fish from reputable sources. So I hope this video was useful for anyone who thinks about buying a L number pleco. Leave your comments in the comment section as always, and I'll see you in further videos soon.